The Roaring Peacock podcast. My name's Adonis, and you know me as at the Adelites on Twitter. It's a very good hello from me, and it's a deadline day special, and special is the word. So to discuss the all the transfers that we've made, it's Barney from the internet at Barney LUFC21.
Aye aye.
Oi oi, clusterfuck himself, and just gone 30 seconds, and chairman of the board, statistician, in-house statistician, our man Wiggy at Wiggy1234 Wiggy.
Good evening, y'all okay?
Yeah, it's been a minute. But I'm good. So I wanted to start off with Angus Kinnear. The rationale is straightforward. We believe we have three striking options that are better than the majority of our peers. Two proven international number nines and a player widely regarded as the best emerging young striking talent in the league.
With stuff like that, he could do stand-up comedy. He'd have a Netflix series in no time.
It's been an eventful day. 7 hours ago, I didn't know who. Wait, what's his name? I've forgotten him already. DN. No, it's gone again. I've erased him from my mind. Bamba Dieng. I didn't know who he was. A few days ago, I didn't know who Cody Gakpo was, and now I don't have to know them, so it's fine.
I hope you didn't spend any time on YouTube.
Do you know what? I watched a bit of the Cody Gakpo game last night, and then he scored a hat-trick, obviously, so I got quite excited. And then it was like, oh, well, Bamba Dieng, he's decided to join, and it's already done pretty much. And Barney, you troublemaker, shared a YouTube highlight thing on Twitter, and I got very excited about him doing, scissor kicks in the air and all sorts of things. Never get excited as a Leeds fan.
And then there I say, someone said it's a clusterfuck this, we shouldn't have gone for him. I said, what's the clusterfuck? 2 hours later, deal's off.
There it is.
Life comes at you fast.
So we talked. Yeah.
I've been really busy at work today, so I've missed it all, which has not been a bad thing at all. So no. I'm sure Twitter is a cesspool of emotion, shall we say?
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster. It's been emotional, as Vinnie Jones.
Don't go to bed just yet, lad.
Yeah. So the story of the day was we woke up and to the news that Cody Gakpo was going nowhere, and then. We found out that, Bamba Dieng was next on the list, and Victor was flying out to go secure that. And then you find out about Bamba Dieng, and he sounds like an absolute bargain. 10 million euros, goal of the season for Liga last year. Massive potential. Radrazani replies to a tweet from Ollie Ward. Ollie Ward said, I don't think anyone is fully against the signing of Bamba Dieng, but I understand why people are a bit underwhelmed after the links with Gakpo. But we have to back Dieng now and hope he smashes it for us. This is 5 hours ago. Andrea Radrazani replied, agreed. Full stop. Let's welcome Bamba Dieng and we will continue to work on Gapco. It's not how you spell his name. Now it's time to focus on the pitch and support our new project and the great job Jesse and the staff are doing. Big muscles and yellow and blue love hearts.
Always a yellow and blue love hearts.
I don't know. I don't know what there is to say. I'm just gobsmacked that another transfer deadline day is coming. We fucked it up again. I think only the thing that would top it is when James was stood with the shirt and we're filming it for Amazon and we still can't get the deal done because they won't answer the phone.
This is how we reacted to the deadline day on our Twitter. Deadline day and you need squad depth. Do you sign a striker or loan James out?
Oh, we are comedy gold, aren't we?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
The thing is, I put a tweet out and said that I think that Rads gets a little bit fragile sometimes on Twitter, and he'll all of a sudden just blow up because the amount of times he's getting tagged, especially this time of year as well. But he doesn't help himself, does he? A lot of people think I'm a happy clapper. I'm always defending him, but there's just sometimes in the time in it, just don't tweet anything, just don't say anything. And the fact he wasn't tagged in it, so he must have literally searched something and then thought, right, I'm going to reply to them. I just the whole timing of it. I mean, you can just imagine tomorrow, we don't sign anyone. Paddy Powell have definitely got a video coming out, haven't they, with the tweets from Leeds fans and on Facebook. And then Rads' tweet there. It's nailed on.
You definitely are a happy clapper, though, just to confirm.
I'm not that bad. I don't do the hearts all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just about managing expectations, isn't it? Like, we all kind of, we beat Chelsea 3-0, and then we kind of forget who we support. It's Leeds. This was always going to happen. I tweeted out today, it would be the most Leeds thing ever. If you could write a script for deadline day, it would be, don't go to bed just yet type tweet, which we got from Rads. And then Dieng, our third choice striker for the day, doesn't sign for us. And then we learn out Dan James. It was always going to happen. And expectations in terms of Rads. I mean, have you seen the away shirt? I mean, he gave his kid some crayons and that was the design. He took us to Myanmar. He approved the Gaviscon badge. This is a man who has not changed.
I like the shirt, to be fair.
Yeah,
it's better than the yellow one.
Of course you do.
I don't like the yellow one.
Yeah.
I don't like the...
No.
I actually went into the club shops to go have a look at the yellow one just to see the quality, and it feels as bad as it looks as well.
Right. The one that's got an ink stain that looks like somebody wanking.
It's like the first time you've done some washing and you've put wrong colours in.
For the first time in years, it's one I'm not going to buy. Maybe when it's half price, but I won't be buying it now. That's for sure. But I do I definitely like the black one. I think it'd be better with yellow or white stripes, of course. But overall, I think it's okay. I'm all right with it. I just, we've all been crying out for a striker and a left back, and not only have we not got either of these things, we're letting Dan James go out on loan. What the actual is going on? Like, are you crazy? There might be one coming in today. Who knows? But it ain't going to be anyone of any quality. It'll probably be Tyler Roberts back from QPR on loan. They've sent him back. Real Bailey and a brand new stupid striker. It would just be like, that would be a lead thing. Hey, look what he's got. It's Tyler Roberts.
And he's not even getting any game time at QPR, is he?
No, he's always injured.
Of course he's not. Bielsa's not the QPR manager last time I checked, so I can't imagine he'd be getting much game time. Oh dear.
Has it been confirmed then for Dan James? Is it actually happening?
Medical.
I haven't seen. Sky Sports were saying that it's going to happen regardless of whether we bring somebody in or not. I've just seen some Adam Can on Twitter. He's just said time to hit the recall button with the gif of Tyler Roberts eating a Magnum. Sol Dukara is currently a free agent. So yeah.
Can you remember when we tried to get James from Swansea and they didn't answer the phone? It's probably us ringing Fulham now, going answer the phone. We want him off our books. We're just so... I just can't believe it. Like, I think Dan James has had a really rough time at Leeds. I really feel for him. I think he came in, obviously, with big expectations. He's not played in his natural position for any sustained period of time. but for me, he's done everything that was asked of him, and you cannot fault his effort. He's running. I know he's lacking in the final third. I totally can see that. I'm not blind, but I think he's got the heart and the passion. I think he's had a really rough ride at Leeds. I think it's taken, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah,
left the hospital moments after his wife gave birth to get on a private jet to come play for Leeds.
I think for me as well is that Bielsa had his heart set on him to come to Leeds. We got him. Everyone thought it was an emergency transfer that we did, but as soon as Ronaldo came in, it was obvious he was going to be surplus to requirements, and it was obvious that Leeds were going to come in for him. First season, he was always down on the Bielsa team. Second season, it was just an absolute clusterfuck. So you're asking a winger to be a striker. So last season, we couldn't really say he's a good player or not because he was playing out of position the majority of the time. And then now he's too much of a winger for our system. I know that sounds ridiculous, but he just runs and runs and runs with the ball and then crosses, and he's not very good at that, unfortunately.
And the thing is, like, Scum brought in Ronaldo, so he was surplus to requirements. We brought in no one, so he's surplus to requirements. What's the actual is all that about? Like, there's no one coming in. It's crazy. It's just madness today.
There's just no need for it. I mean, we don't have to always flirt with, the cliff edge. Like, we've been so perilous with these small squads. Bielsa's gone now. There was nobody there's not a manager who was threatening to, tear up his contract and get on a plane and leave if you didn't do things, exactly, if you didn't put that light bulb exactly to the millimeter of where I want it, So Marsh wants more players, and we just got to a stage where we're not having to have, 16-year-old, 15, 16-year-old Archie Gray on the bench.
There's that, and then you compound that with the fact that Rodrigo's out for we don't know how long now. Like, what are they thinking? Like, everyone can clearly see we're short in that position. We've lost Rodrigo, and yet James is an option up there. Like, I'm not saying he was brilliant up there. I don't think he wants to play up there, but he did the job what he was asked to do. And I'm not saying he was great up there, but another body's gone. So Rodrigo's out, James is gone. Your options are limited all the time. So on the wings now, we've got Somerville in reserve, and I know Aronson can play out there, but come on. Like, with Rodrigo injured, Aronson put my teeth in. Aaronson's going to play inside, and therefore your options are some of them. What the actual fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Look, lads, we may have started well, but we're in for a long season. I know that Barney thinks we're going to be in Champions League, but we're not, mate.
I think a lot of people have misunderstood about the depth. Depth isn't just about number; it's about having the quality as well. I think we've added quality to the bench, but like you say, if we're going to get rid of James on loan and not bring anyone in at all, we're going back to square one again from last season and asking the kids to play in some games that probably will not change the game. I mean, I went to the under-21s game on Bank Holiday Monday. Some really good footballers, but it's a massive step up from under-21s to play in the best league in the world to do something. I think it'd be absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the board was already on tenterhooks with the fans anyway, with how last season was and how the transfer window was operated. The transfer window at the start, fantastic. I don't think it's not been last minute with these players. A lot of groundwork's been done, but I just think that again we've been played by agents again, and we're too naive with agents. I feel
like we're a few injuries away from an absolute crisis again, and there was really no need for it.
No. And Barney's right there when he says about, the kids stepping up, and we've seen evidence of that time and time again. For every, bloody 8 or 9 will not make it, the 10th one will. And the quality and what you need is totally different. And that's why they step up, and the majority do not make it. And you can see why. Like, I'm like Cody Drama, for example. I'm not a massive fan. I don't think he's given us enough. I probably haven't seen enough in the Premier League because he hasn't played that much there. But I don't think he'll make it. Personally, I don't think he's good enough, and I think he's our third choice right back. If I'm really honest with you.
Well, yeah, he needs the minutes, doesn't he? And he got the minutes at Cardiff, and he was basically their player of the season. But I don't know how much of that is down to
that's
Leeds fan votes.
Yeah.
I wasn't busy watching much of the Championship last season. I was busy just fearing that we were going to be back there, and I didn't fancy scouting for next season. But as luck would have it, we don't have to play there. But I think that level, the Championship level, is there are obviously a lot of players who walk the Championship. Mitrovic was one of them. Chris Wood, another. You've got who's that lad at Newcastle? Dwight Gale. He always scores like 25 goals, looks like Ronaldo in the Championship, and comes up, and it's a massive level, not just from under 21s to the first team, but also from there. So you do need depth and you do need quality, and I think letting Dan James go and not bring anybody else in is just, I mean, it's like lemmings jumping off a cliff. We've had a brain freeze. I don't know what they're playing at. It's madness. But we did have a good transfer window up until that point, up until today.
Look, it's been cracking, hasn't it? And the business they did, really early, as you said, in for the pre-season, it was brilliant. And yeah, these were unknowns to us, and you're like, I'm not sure whether they'll be good enough, and all of them usual things. But I know we're going to come on to talk about the signings, but for me, in the main, they've been really good.
Right, let's rate the signings then. Unless there's has somebody got any notifications just in case we sign anybody? Bamba Dieng will no longer join Leeds after Nice have hijacked his transfer. Okay, so it's just all the same stuff. Right, Brendan Aronson. I don't know what kind of ratings you want to do. I know Squid Ball did peri peri sauce. I find that a bit weird. Maybe just a normal out of 10.
Yeah. my tiny brain can't work on a peri scale. Even though I'm partial to a little Nando's, cheeky Nando's.
Right.
Never been.
You've never been.
No. It's just shit chicken, isn't it? It's just shit chicken.
For shame.
I'd rather make it myself.
Barney, come on.
Come on, buddy.
I mean, we all love a steak, but you can't eat a Big Mac every now and again, can you?
Yeah, well, that's all right when you're hungover or something, but I wouldn't go out and let's go out for lunch to McDonald's. Not for me. When you've got a kid, yeah, fair enough, but no.
I tell you, the last time I had Nando's, it was after the Brentford game, because we'd been at Ewan's for so long. We were all pissed, and I was so hungry. We hadn't eaten anything there. We just drank.
You were on the gin.
Yeah, I was on the Austrian gin.
It's
very rare for me.
And what spice did you go? I'm really interested in this now.
I've got no idea. Medium peri sauce or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Good lad. Medium's where it's at.
Yeah. Right, Brendan Aronson. How do you think he's done so far? Has surpassed your expectations? Do you like what he does? He's been brought in to be a number 10, right? So basically, this is the Pablo replacement. Does he do that job? What are your thoughts? Don't all jump at once.
Do you want me?
I'm waiting for Barney.
Well, I said at the start of the season, I'm really excited to get him. I think he's probably the most exciting new talent in European football. He's just absolutely amazing. The work rate he does on and off the ball, this is just fantastic. The way he just understands the game as well. It's one or two passes, and he knows how to work in the system. For 25 million, I think, was it 25 million or 20 million? A lot of people say that it's quite a big price tag for him, but I think he's on another level, and he's taken the squad onto another level of the way that our attacking threat. I'd say 10. There you go, 10.
10 out of 10, Barnes.
I
Bloody
mean,
hell.
Barney, you can add 2 for Barney because he's just optimistic. So surprised he didn't say 12. No, I think he's been a really good addition. I know that you tweeted yesterday, Donny, I think saying we're still missing that Pablo type player, and he hasn't come into that stratosphere yet for me. But I think he's had a really, really solid start to his Leeds career. I think he's a nuisance. I think he's everywhere. I think he does create things for us. We need more of that. But I think in some of the games, Brighton, Everton, we just probably haven't had the look of the grass. But I think really good, solid signing, and he's getting the highest of all the new signings for me with a good 8.5.
Ooh, 8.5 out of 10. Wow, that's big. That's huge. Yeah, for me, he's not really a number 10. He's more like a number 8. But his what he brings to us is he's absolutely everywhere on the pitch, and he reminds me of a number 8 because you remember Lee Bowyer. He would just be box to box, and he'd be helping the defense, and he'd be linking the play, and he'd be driving forward and bringing it up, but he'd also have that element of being able to slot it in the top corner every now and then and take really good free kicks. So I think he's not quite there yet, and he doesn't have the creativity or the vision that I'd want for a number 10. Pablo would nutmeg people doing through balls, and he would be able to unlock defenses which are sitting deep, which I think quite a few teams are going to do for us because we high press so well, and that's why we destroyed Chelsea basically, because we worked so hard in that midfield. But in terms of the transfers, it's a theme, isn't it? We've signed 3 midfielders to replace Phillips and Click basically, and we still haven't got that Pablo. And I still think that the best midfield we've had in decades was that midfield in the Championship where you had Phillips, who was sitting deep and he was protecting the defence, and he's an absolute destroyer like Batty was. And then you had Click, who was the number 8, who linked everything, and his legs have gone a bit now. And then you had Pablo, who could create and unlock everything. So Brendan, he's done well. I'd say 7 for me. 7. Right. Oh. Rasmus.
We go from one end of the scale to the other. Look, he's shit. He's shit. He's not shit.
Oh, Wiki.
No, look, he's shaky for me. I think we need to do left back and to do right back. If I'm honest. No, I don't think. Look, there's some bits of play where you go, wow. So I think that tackle against in the Wolves game, where they were through on goal and he came and got the ball, incredible. There were a couple of tackles like that on Tuesday night against Everton, especially in the second half. But I think when you look at the goals conceded, they're attacking him, and he's making mistakes, and he's not where he should be, and all of these things that just make you go, oh, I'm not sure. Hurry up, Halen, please get back. Because just Luke would have made them mistakes, or he was not prone to making them mistakes. I think his attacking game, once we get settled on that right-hand side with a right winger pairing for him, I think we'll see a lot more of him in terms of doing the overlap, getting the ball in, all of that sort of stuff. But I think because he hasn't had a consistent partner out on that side and can't get that understanding, I think that has impacted his ability going forward. So I think a little shaky at the back and needs improvement and to get up to speed quick. Some good signs going forward, but I think that'll improve as he settles into the season. So I'm going with a 5.
Okay, 5 out of 10. Barnes?
When he came in, I thought he was going to be like one of these really scary players. And he's not. He seems quite weak in the tackle sometimes. His positioning isn't great at all. There's a lot of time where teams will literally float the ball into the right, and he doesn't seem to know where to be. to get the ball, either head it or should I kick it. I think it's far too early to write him off and say he's not right for the because I think that some people are already saying he's not good enough. I thought against Everton on Tuesday, you could tell he'd had a bollocking at half time, and you could tell in the first half the crowd were getting on top of him. There was a lot of mistakes he was doing, just simple mistakes, and I think someone had a quiet word with him. I think in the second half, that's probably his best performance I've seen in the Leeds shirts in the second half. It was quite telling that in the second half he was out wide, but no one was passing to him, and the amount of times he was so frustrated saying, "Give me the fucking ball." I think Wiggy's right though. I think he just needs that right partnership, and he could build that partnership and hopefully move forward. I'm going to say for all the hype that me personally, I think other people thought as well, I'm going to say 4.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
For those tuning in, that's a 2 because we had 2 about it positivity.
Yeah, so for me, I think that we are a little bit inured to the Premier League. Like, the Premier League is the best league in the world. And I think it's really easy to forget that. I think it's sometime, like, it might even be, like, not the latter stages, but it might even be more difficult than Champions League games, certainly the qualifying and the group stage of the Champions League. So simply because, you know, the Premier League has spent, for example, this summer, more than the other top 5 leagues. What I'm saying is it's a massive step up. It's a massive step up for Rasmus. And he was saying to Jesse that, you know, in Austria and in other games, like for Norway, for example, he could have maybe 7, 8, 10 moments in a game where he can attack and he can create something and make a difference. And in the Premier League, it's down to 2 or 3. So you can see how much of a step up it is. It will take time. But what I see is good signs. And I think what you've both said, especially you, Wiggy, at the start, was, you know, that's probably one reason why we've sort of let James go, is because Struijk has been helped so much by Harrison on that left-hand side. Harrison is so good. And I mean, offering 20 mil or whatever it was from Newcastle, that's an absolute joke, really, because of what he brings, the work rate that he puts into every game, the tracking back. It makes it a lot easier for Struijk, who I think has struggled a lot. So yeah, I think it's going to take time. He needs some help there. I think Ayling walks back into the team, but I think that there's potential there. I'm going to give him a 6, a generous 6.
Oh.
No.
Mark Raka. I think that's how you say it. I can't roll the R's very well. Go on, Barnes.
I think he's such an intelligent player. I think sometimes you've got to I know it's an old cliche, but sometimes you've got to, when you're in the ground, you just watch. For me, I sometimes just watch a player for a couple of minutes or so. It's probably because I've had 8 pints before the game, though. But
But I think sometimes all you do is watch the midfield. I don't think you actually watch the game.
I just love midfield. I think it's the heartbeat of any football side. If you don't have a good midfield, you're fucked, basically. That's fine. But Rocker, really intelligent player. I don't think we've seen the best from him at all yet. It was quite telling. Tuesday night was the first time he played a full 90 minutes. Every other game he's been coming off for 90 after 60 minutes. He's probably not quite up to fitness yet. But just watching him, when he's always dictating where players should be positional wise. He'll say to Elan, right, go long, go short. He reads the game really well. I think he's going to be one of those players that's going to get better and better during the course of the season. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing because he'll go to Elan, go long, go short, and then Elan goes over West Ham. So I'm bothered.
I'm going to say a solid 7 because I don't think we've seen the best of him at all yet.
All right, and just before I come to you, Wiggy, I've realised that I haven't read out any of the chats. I'm really sorry. And thank you very much for tuning in. So Nora says, "Whoa, Wiggy! Happy to see you." Typical Leeds Rads the mug, says Callum. Michael Brown, good evening, guys, and good evening, everybody. Still the birthday balloons in the background. Yeah. Birthday balloons. It was Nora and myself, our birthdays recently. Nora turned 30. Hope she doesn't mind me telling everybody. So the big 3-0, there you go. Biggest balls up today in our history, says Leo.
I can think of worse. Christ.
I can, but yeah, it's a ball bit though. Another.
Dan James is having his medical at Fulham. Hey, what's up, G? Says Diggs, by the way, 7. Callum Sharp, hour ago, planning where DN can play fast forward. Hour later, take the cleaner out of the locker room. Let's go. Millwall, says Toasty919. Let's fuck off, Toasty. Michael Brown Greenwood is classed as a forward but plays in midfield. Yeah, he's been playing as a defensive midfielder the last couple of seasons. Apparently, James is off, says Callum. Very up to date there, Callum. Thank you. Sonny Perkins can step up today. Today? The under-21's playing. Why do Leeds leave it so late? They did so well to recruit in the new players early in June and July and reserve goalkeeper in August. All that was required was one striker. All that time wasted. We don't know. Don't know, Michael. We feel your pain. Mark R. Rough ride, fair, but nowhere near a 25mm player. 25mm, says Nora. He's not that small. Right, that was some of your comments. That's what's happening in the comment section. Wiggy, Mark Roca.
I'm glad you broke it up after Barney, because after we've got a midfield expert, I don't know how I can follow it up. To be honest with you.
Well, Barney was in the middle of a quote, and I thought it was going to be extremely poetic. It was like, the midfield, I love it. It's the heartbeat of a team. If you don't have a midfield, you're fucked. That's where the poetry ended.
You want to put that on one of those quote things? Yeah.
Have a t-shirt made with it, man. Like, I think, everything Barney said is absolutely true. I think for me, and I know we'll come on to Adams, but I think they've formed a really solid partnership really, really quickly, which is what you need. And you can tell that signing them early so that they can work together in our team with the other players has been a huge benefit for us, and they have clicked straight away. And I think it's been really good for us. I think there's a lot more to come from him, and I think we're all going to be really, really impressed with him. I'm going to give him a solid 7.5 because I'm giving halves tonight. Just because.
Okay.
That's just cheating, though. That's not That's not saying 8 or 7. I'm like, I don't know. I'll go 7.5.
Well, if I have to go one or the other, I'd go 7.
Yeah. Okay. You can cheat if you want, Wiggy. I don't mind.
Thanks, Tommy.
You go for it, Wiggy. Rocker, a wonderful left foot. Very nice. I think sometimes he slows the play down a bit too much, but that's by the by. He's also got a yellow card or 2 in him. I think he needs to work a little bit on the defensive side, but he looks very classy. Really, you can tell he was at Bayern Munich for a long period of time. He just oozes class. He's a really good signing as Rocker, I think. Sometimes just slows it down a bit, doesn't carry the ball enough. He wants to do those golf swings with his left boot that look very nice, but sometimes not what you need. And that's why when Click has come on for him and driven the ball and picked out those through balls and passes, it's been much better looking in transition. 7. I think that's probably fair. Michael Brown, it's reported that Rodrigo doesn't need an operation and is scheduled to return after the international break in October. That's incredibly good news. Mark R, is it the club's fault when players don't want to play for Leeds? Well, the club should be making players want to play for them, surely. And the other thing I think is, if you leave it all to the last minute and you're basically holding a gun to someone's head, aren't you? You're saying, look, now or never.
Yeah.
No foreplay at all, was it? It's very, very dry way of trying to get these players in.
The dry way is the best way, apparently. So Leeds United keep doing anyway. Styled.
Unfortunately, Leeds have no pull without Bielsa, says Paul G. You're saying Jesse's not, got the pull of Story 65 MOT. If no one coming in, James needs to stay. Yep. Don't answer the phone. Rads, put the phone down. Paul G, hope Rads sells soon. Would prefer the Yanks running the show. Wow, there you go. About to go on the gin myself over here. Diabolical last day, says Napa N. Yep, that's one way of getting through this deadline day. And here come the ratings. Nora gives Aronson a 9. Mark R gives Aronson a 9. There you go. Rasmus gets a 5 from Nora and a 4 from Mark R and a 4 from Napa N. Bamba Diang gets a 0 from Danny Rumsey. What you doing at the airport, Diang? Mark, you can't park there, mate. Mark R gives Rocker a 6. And Kenneth Gervin says, hello from Norway. Hello, Kenneth. I'm sure you'll be giving Rasmus a fairer score than that. Rightio. Should we rate Darko JB or just forget about it? Let's forget about it. Tyler Adams?
Well, to be honest, I watched him in the under-21s and he was like a man amongst boys in that game. He's just far too good to be playing in the 21s, but he's not at the level to play in the Premier League quite yet either. But he was just running the show. He was ridiculous. He's built like a brick shithouse as well. But he's really, really good. He's really good. But he's I'll say 4. There you go.
Barney's scouting report. He's built like a brick shit house. He was like a man amongst boys.
Just give him the ball and he'll run with it. And then shoot.
Sign him, definitely. Sign him up. Do you want to do your little report from the under-23s? Because you saw it in person, didn't you? Or do you just want to sprinkle them in?
It was. I enjoyed it. Free day out. Nice to get out with the family. My wife was saying, "I'm cold. Can I go sit in the car?" My lad was playing with stones on the floor.
You've dragged your family along.
It was a nice day out. But I mean, the football was good. You could see that they're definitely using the same sort of identity of football like we are in the first team. I think a lot of people just go because they might get a chance to go see a player. A lot of the kids were just hanging around waiting for the Merc 4x4s to come and the Porsche 4x4s to come. It was funny because the Joffy turned up and someone said, "Can I have your autograph?" He says, "No, sorry, I'm late for training." So,
ladies are fine there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ladies get going.
One of the dinner ladies will be getting a nice little voucher.
Yeah, 500 quid, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not bad at all.
I tell you what, I like that.
I just locked the door so they couldn't get in. I don't know what you mean.
I like that from Marsh. I like it.
Yeah.
When you said there were loads of kids there, I thought you were going to say that they all had big signs saying, "Can I have your shirt? Can I have your smelly socks, please?"
It was quite interesting because there was Mick Harford there, the former Luton manager.
No,
he's a chief. He had prostate cancer recently.
Oh dear, did he?
He's chief scout for Luton now, and then there was a few other scouts there. I walked past Ian Hart. I said to my wife, "Oh, that's Ian Hart there." I didn't want to get a photo with him because
you have to go around him.
Yeah, and he still couldn't catch me. I mean, it's just good that you can actually go watch the under-21s and it's free.
Oh, sorry, I was taking a drink there. I thought you were going to keep talking. Right, enough of the under-21s. No one cares. Tyler Adams, go on, Wiggy.
Midfield maestro is like a bulldog in it. A little chihuahua, actually. No, he's a little chihuahua. He's everywhere.
Crack
He
open the maestro word.
Get
it out. Get out the maestro word.
He has settled in and he's playing fantastic. I think even against Chelsea, everyone's getting the plaudits, the goal scorers, this, that, and the other bit. He were everywhere. They could not get away from him. I think he's been absolutely brilliant so far, and I think the partnership between him and Rocker is, as I said earlier, is really coming together. I've been so impressed with him, and I'm not one of these who's like, oh, Calvin who? Like, Calvin Phillips was a fantastic footballer. We miss him. But he's been able to step into that position and make it his own. And like he said, when he joined, I'm not Calvin Phillips. I'm Tyler Adams. And when you first hear the name Tyler, you go, oh, God, what we getting? But he's absolutely blown my socks off. I think he's been brilliant. So he's getting an 8.5 out of 10 for me as well.
An 8.5. Barnes? Tyler Adams.
Well, I can't really add much more to that. I think he's an absolute, just reads the game so well. Sometimes I like really attacking, exciting football, but sometimes I like really simple football as well. And he does that really simple football well. He knows how to read the tempo of the game. I'm going to go for, can I go for 10.5 out of 10? Because I think he's an absolute baller. I love him to bits.
You can go for whatever you want, Barnes.
I'm sure he criticised me for putting a half on.
Well, I might as well join the club.
We're all doing it now, including Patrick R in the comments. Adams is an 8.5 for me. Spine of the team. Story 65 MOT. Adams gets an 8. Have we recalled Tyler Roberts yet? Says Toby Lerone. Love that name.
He's been unveiled at 11 o'clock. Don't go to bed just yet.
Leeds United are delighted to announce. He's like a new signing.
After a successful spell at QPR.
Who drove him back up to Ellen Road in a Ford Fiesta and didn't even stop whilst kicking him out.
Rads went down and drove him up himself. Tyler Adams, excellent player. He talks very quick as well, thinks very fast. Leadership qualities, yelling at people. He does all the simple things well. He might miss a pass every now and then, but he's just a fantastic player, running around all over the place. Heat map like a Labrador in a dog park.
Wow, that's they're the stats you want, aren't they?
A Chihuahua, a Labrador, any other dogs we want to name?
I don't know. Bulldog.
I do like a French bulldog.
A French one. There you go.
Apparently, they're the better ones out than the British bulldogs. Apparently,
the British ones always look a bit miserable.
Yeah, they're a bit slow though, aren't they?
Slow, yeah.
What French ones?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got no idea what we're talking about. I have no idea about dogs.
Talking about, we've gone on to dogs.
What about Rocker? Rocker can be a border collie because he knows how to shepherd the players, and he's really intelligent. And border collies are.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Fine. There we go. Can we change our scale to dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the shittest dog? There's a question.
Shih Tzu. Chihuahua.
Yeah.
No? Poodle?
Yeah.
I don't know. Right, Tyler
Poodles
Adams.
are really intelligent as well.
I'm gonna give Tyler an 8 out of 10. I think he's a solid player. Okay, and finally, Luis Sinisterra.
So I'm going to go straight in with the rating of 8, and he probably would be higher if he'd have played more. So I think the fact he's been out has been what has affected my rating, but I think there's just been them little touches and the little bit of raffing him, and you can't help but compare them. You just go, oh yeah, Rafa do that. I think his goal on Tuesday night was fantastic, really well taken. He was a nuisance. I think he's been a really good sign. I'm just, yeah, we haven't seen enough of him for me to rate him higher, but I think he's so exciting. And I think, once he's got a few games under his belt, I think we are going to see the next Raf, and I'm so excited to see all of that. So, yeah, a really solid 8 would be higher for me if he'd have played more.
Okay, Barnes?
I'm going to go in for 7 because I haven't seen enough of him, like Wiggy's saying. But he is very much like Rafinha. He's got those little touches and like a little drop of the shoulder that Rafinha used to do. But I think he's probably, dare I say, maybe a little bit more intelligent than Rafinha. I think he'll fit into this system better than what Rafinha, because Rafinha was an out-and-out winger, wasn't he? Even though you tried to get him into a central position, he would always go out wide all the time. And I think Sinistero, with his skill, I think he'll fit into how we want to just be in the middle all the time.
Yep, I'll go 7 because, yeah, we haven't seen too much of him. But I really loved that back heel nutmeg that he did. And, of course, the goal, which made Lampard cry. He was extremely salty about, it was a scuff shot. Yeah, okay, fine.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I did. What a prick.
He is a prick. Can't stand him on.
The thing is, though, I saw the goal from the cut when Sinistero scored. I thought, that is a bit of a scuff goal. And I thought, surely Pickford should have got that, but he didn't even move. And if you watch the replay, it is actually quite a good shot, really.
It's intentional, isn't it?
He's wrong-footed into Pickford. He's going the other way. That's where the ball's going, and he just then stood and looks like a lemon. Mind you, we just stood like that all night. What he just like. You want to do something?
Yeah, him waiting to take the goal kick. Yeah.
Brick.
Joseph Williamson, he's given us some advice. We got some advice. Wish you guys would stop banging on about Bielsa. He's gone. Okay. All right.
Fair enough.
Thanks, Joseph.
I don't think we have much tonight. No. Bloody hell, go back and watch other episodes.
Thanks, Joseph. We'll take that on board. Leeds doing Leeds things. We left it last minute and got burned, says Patrick R. We did indeed. Michael Brown, Leeds should try and follow RB Salzburg method of recruiting players. They recruited Minamino for 5 million, Haaland for 7 million, Aronson between 3 and 5, an easier way to recruit players.
Well, to be fair, that's what we're doing, but with the Premier League, so we've got to spend a little bit more than just the odd 5 million here and there. I mean, we're going for 10, 15, 20 million. That's the market we're in. So if you put it into monetary terms, that's probably about the same as what they're doing because it's a tougher league.
Yeah, that's the starting price in the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of filtration, isn't it? So if we went direct to the source, it's kind of like why Premier League clubs don't shop in Brazil, for example. They wait for Brazilian players to go play at Sporting Lisbon or Rennes. Obviously where we got Rafinha. Rafinha came directly through that route. So it was very odd for Manchester City to get Julian Alvarez, for example, straight from there. But they just knew he was going to be able to make the step up. So you don't always know if they're going to make the step up, and a lot of players don't make the step up even to like the Austrian league, for example. So you just have to wait until they prove themselves in Europe, and then maybe they will prove themselves in the Premier League, but it's not always the case. Mark R. Perkins was the Hammers' top prospect, looked good in the first team, played in Europe. Why is he not ready to make the bench at least? Barnes, you were our man at Thorpe Arch. Elbowing all the little kids out of the way, trying to get Joffrey's a selfie with Joffrey.
Yeah, I mean he's a good player, and you can see quality in him. But again, like I said, the Premier League is such a massive step up, and we don't want to go down that road if we're going to have some of our main strikers out relying on a prospect. It's not like it was years ago. You can't do that.
Okay, so that's Sonny Perkins done. Joel Robles.
10.
10?
He'd be brilliant. I saw him.
Hasn't done a thing wrong.
Not put a foot wrong. I saw him on the bench against Barnsley, and I was really impressed.
Okay, and the transfer window as a whole, then.
I'm trying to take out today's feelings of rage and anger, but look, a really solid start. I'd go around the 6.5, so that I'm carrying that on. Just like I think we brought in some real quality that have really improved the team. I think it's disappointing that we haven't got the last one or two that I think we need to be a good team, and we've let someone go. And I think if we'd have got the left back and we'd have got a striker today, and we'd have kept Dan James, I think we'd be in a really strong position to be in or around the mid-table. I am now really worried that we're thin again, and I mean, luckily, unluckily, we've got a break, haven't we, for the World Cup, and so there is less games before-ish. That hopefully means we can get there, be in a comfortable position, and then the window reopens in January. So let's see how we get on. Okay,
6.5 out of 10. Barnes, so just to recap, we've sold Phillips, hometown hero. You probably his biggest fan, Barnes. Propaganda for Calvin Phillips was your.
I was a crying man. I cried.
We sold Rafinha, and by the way, both for around 40 million, wasn't it? Did that happen? It did. And we've let Dan James go at the last minute. So just to recap, because we had all the incoming. So go on, Barnes.
Right. So I'm going to two scenarios here. The worst case scenario, I'm going to say 6, because we've done really well at the start of the window. But if we're going to let one of the main guys go again, like Dan James, who is a very good quality player that I think he can add value to the team. And if we're not going to get a striker in, that's just going to put us into a situation that fans think we're thinking that we're going to be in a situation, because if we didn't sign this player because of last season. But I'm going to say 9 out of 10 if we get a striker in and we give Jack Harrison a brand new contract extension, and I think that's a really good transfer for me.
Okay.
That's not going to happen, though, is it?
How about Tyler Roberts recalled?
I do think Harrison will get a new deal after the window's shut. I think they're already working on that. I don't think I'm going to say I don't think that's stupid, but actually, on today's evidence, I'm not too sure. Hiya, Jack. Here's a new deal for 5 years at $5,000 less than what you're earning. What do you think?
Breaking news: Newcastle finally signed Harrison at 5 to 11.
Okay, and here's a tweet that I enjoyed. Bell PSV again, lad. It's the druggy meme with Victor Orta and Rad's faces superimposed on it. Very good, very good. The window as a whole, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you remember last summer we were sort of crying out for a midfielder, and we didn't get one, and this time it's been a left back, because as good as Strauch has been sort of defensively on the wing, he doesn't offer very much attacking on the flank, and in this system the fullbacks give us width, and we really need to be attacking with them. And he tends to drift into the centre, which makes sense because he's a centre back when defending in the box, which leaves a massive gap on our left hand side, which has cost us, I think, 3 or 4 goals so far, and we haven't conceded that many. So, and then we talked on Tuesday about Angus bringing out these notes saying we've got 2 proven international forwards and Joffy, and one hasn't played for a year basically, and now the other one is out, and so now we're back to Joffy again and Dan James, but we've got rid of Dan James now. It's difficult, isn't it? I thought we didn't get the value we should have for Phillips and Rafinha, and especially when you consider how much other players have been sold for in this window. I realised that they didn't have the length of contract of some other players, but again, that should have been taken care of earlier. About planning, you need to tie down your most valuable assets, and that's what Barney you were talking about with Harrison. So a 6 out of 10, I think, but this is dependent upon us playing like we have done, and even in the games where we've played badly, we've stayed in those games, and we might have got something out of it. We might have turned that loss against Brighton into a draw. We might have won against Southampton. We might have beaten Everton. So as long as we stay in games, I think we'll be fine. But the Premier League this season is a transitional season where you've got two teams that have got promoted who are doing very well, and God knows how many players Nottingham Forest have signed, probably 30 by now. And Fulham looked fantastic last season, and they're doing well. And there are a lot of teams down at the bottom who you would expect to start picking up results. The likes of Leicester and those kind of players, kind of teams who have quality players. So it's going to be a very tight season. It could be a season where 40 points might not be enough.
I think it's very early days, and as we know, and I think that the season, they always say don't the 10 games to have a look, and I think by 10 games we'll have a clearer picture of who's where. Because I think Fulham will drop away. They've started really well. I think we will drop some places, and then I think we'll know roughly where we're at as we go into towards the winter break, World Cup break.
So Everton, I think only had a point less than us at this stage last season, and you saw how close they came, and they suffered with injuries. We've got quite a few injury-prone players. I don't know. I worry. I would have liked that depth. I think it's madness to get rid of James, and I think we needed more depth, especially up front, especially as goals were a big problem last season without Bamford.
It's almost like they've gone, you want midfielders? You've moaned about midfielders? We've fucking got you loads of midfielders. Yes, but we've no other players. We know we've got shitloads of midfielders now, but we've no fucker else. What are you doing?
Right. That was our deadline day transfer special. So final thoughts from you, and then I'll read out the final comments, and we'll go to bed. Just yet.
I think there's one more coming in.
You do? Wiggy?
I do. I've got a gut. I don't know who, but I've got a gut.
Okay.
Billy Sharp from Sheffield United.
Chris Wood. Yeah.
But Billy Sharp's only allowed to play 10 games. If he plays any more, we've got to pay him more.
Yes, totally.
Right. So, Barnes, you want to go first? Final thoughts.
Final thoughts is that even though I'm contradicting myself, don't get stressed about transfers because it's out of our hands. Everyone's a transfer expert during the transfer window, and we should be getting that player, and look at that club getting those players in, and it's not that easy. I don't think it's probably like buying a house. You don't just go buy a house and say, that's it, I've got it within a week you're moving in. I don't think it's that easy. Just don't get stressed about it. Football's meant to be enjoyable. And if you're going to get the amount of stress that we all went through last season, and we've stayed up, so we should just enjoy this season again. Because I don't think we're going to be in a situation we are last season. I don't think we're going to have the injury problems that we had last season. I just can't see it. Everyone should screen record this and then come back to me later in the season, because I'm going to sound like Kevin Keegan now. I can guarantee you we're going to be top 10 and we're going to go on a cup run. I can see it there.
Oh, God. Why do you do this to yourself, Baz? Apparently the Hwang deal is back on, by the way.
I told you, in my gut, there's someone coming.
Yeah, there you go. We'll pay over the odds for him as well, because, first bid was rejected, and they can smell the desperation.
And then they're like,
from Wolverhampton.
Go behind the sofa. I found that 30 million. Found it. Got it. Bring him in.
Wiggy.
So I think, I've summed up the transfer window. I'm quite, we could do with a bit more, but we are where we are. I'm with Barnes. I can't get stressed about these things. I'm very, it is what it is. The things in life you can't control, and and this is one of them. But I think I would reflect on the season and the start, and we've had a good start to the season, and probably should be a couple of points more in the bag with the Southampton game. But we've had a really good start to the season. I think, obviously Brighton was dreadful and we got what we deserved, to be fair. But overall, we have started quite well. So I'm hopeful for this season. I do think we're going to be in a battle. I don't think we're going to be, home and dry by Christmas. I think we're going to be down in that bottom end of the table, but I think we have more than enough to stay up, and I think we'll be absolutely fine. So I'm really pleased with how we started. I think the signings we've made and that have come in overall in the main have been good quality. So more of the same. I can't wait to for the Brighton game and the Forest game. Again, games which we have to be, picking up a point against Brighton at least, Brentford at least, and winning against Forest. So exciting times.
Okay, and I think I found Victor Orta's burner account. I've had to buy, it's Toby Larone. I've had to buy Wi-Fi on my flight to follow this shambles of a window.
Has Toby got like a triangle head?
Like Strauch. Or maybe it's Strauch's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know why the Toblerone's a triangle?
Isn't it the mountains from Swiss? The Swiss Alps?
Yeah, the Matterhorn. There you go. The Matterhorn. Matterhorn.
Is that what you got when we were linked with Juan Mata?
See, it's not just a football show, it's an educational show.
We've been everywhere. We've been all about dogs, Nando's, Toblerone. God, it's an education.
With Dan James almost gone, maybe that opens the door for Somerville. Surely his potential is better than James. No disrespect. There is a little product with James. Maybe Somerville can step up. Maybe. Chris Thompson, transfer window is 7 out of 10. Story says, loads of big clubs loaning players here and there. Squad size is so important. Think we are weaker today after James leaving. Nora says, don't make Barney cry. So New Year's resolution, actually. It was very difficult, though. Very hard. Very hard.
Sounds like a song from Wham or something.
I can't read all these out. I'm sorry if I don't read yours out. Sky Sports reporting Quang deal again. Apparently, we're back on with him. Leicester have spent 15 mil in the transfer window, lowest of any club. But that's why we're doing the Leicester model, Michael. It's the Leicester model. Thanks for a great stream, says Liam. James has officially signed, says Callum. Cheer up in the middle. There's a definite theme emerging. 22 players for Forest now. Great laugh, fellas, MOT. And what have I tuned into, says Stephen Ellis, probably on the Matterhorn. Be great to have a wang. Be great to have a wang and a cock in the side, says Andy Wales. A wang and a cock. A stroking a wang and a cock.
And on that bombshell,
right?
One at the back and one at the front.
We are the Roaring Peacock. Signing off with a stroke and a wang and a cock. Well, my final thought is, was there ever any doubt? It was always going to end this way. Don't go to bed just yet. All of our signings don't want to come, and Dan James of Leeds United can confirm that Dan James has gone to Fulham. Thank you very much. If you like the stream, why don't you subscribe? We'll be back soon, I hope, and follow us at Peacock's Raw. Follow Wiggy at 1234. It's a goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
At Barney LUFC21 if you want to see more clusterfuck tweets.
Impacted tweets about midfielder.
And my name's Adonis. You can find me at the Adelites. Come on, Leeds!
Come on, Leeds!